Okay, so now we're going to take out the back strap and the neck meat. And the way I like the spine will run right down the center. And then here is your rump roast. This line right here is the difference between your rump roast, your back strap, and I usually like to call the neck meat from about here forwards, because there's a couple of big tendons that really start bunching up right in here and then going down into the neck. The neck's a really good piece of meat for roasts, crock pot recipes, things like that. So we're going to come over here and we're just cutting this piece out and cutting it down along this line right here. This would be your flank steak on a cow, and get that out of the way. Now we're going to take our knife and we're going to come right across here, and we're feeling for the bone. Try not to cut into the bone because that'll damage the edge on your knife. And you can feel where you're going with it. Then come up right here, right next to the spine, and this is where a flexible blade really comes in handy again, because you can feel cutting around the spine, the top of the spine bones. And just cut around that. And we're going to follow that through all the way up in the neck, and then just cut the neck down the top. Like so. Now, since this part is cut, the first part you usually end up wasting a little bit to establish where the bones are. But once you get it started, it'll just peel right off. And then of course, once you get enough room to where you can see where you're working in there.
Get up over the top here real quick.
Okay, so this right here is the edge of your spine, the short bones that come up, and this is the beginning of your rib cage here. Now you're just using pretty basically just the tip of your knife, and then just making downward pressure on it and getting as close to those bones as you can. The back strap is used for steaks, butterfly steaks or regular steaks depending upon how you cut it. Tips, pretty much anytime you want a tender cut of meat that's relatively free of connective tissue. Now we're getting, you can see there's an awful lot more connective tissue in here. The tops of the shoulders. And into the neck. Now the neck meat will depend upon the size of the animal, of course, but the larger the animal, the more neck meat you'll get. And then also bucks have usually got quite a bit bigger necks than does do. So now we'll come up here. Now we'll go around this neck. And the whole piece comes off. So now we'll go in, clean this up, and get it ready for wrapping and packaging. So what we'll do here is when you're cutting up, I call this part blocking. You're blocking it into sizes of meat that are the appropriate size for one meal for your family. So seeing as how I'm cooking for 3, we'll go right about here. And then we'll take, like I said, this is the clean section, flip it over onto the clean board, right about here or so. Flip that onto the clean board, and then this is the neck. We'll go ahead and trim this stuff up first. This right here is that big outside tendon. So what you'll do is you'll just slip your knife in between that tendon and the meat, just as close up in there as you can get it, and then run your knife up underneath that tendon, and then hold it, and then do the same on the other side. To get most of that tendon out. Then, if you want to, you can take this off right here. Again, nice thin flexible boning knife. And that's pretty clean meat you can use for burger. This part right here usually just tears off real nice and easy. And there is a nice piece of backstrap. Yeah, we'll wait on that one. Now for the neck roast, usually since roast they'll shrink a little bit more in cooking, I'll just go ahead and try to take these major tendons out. And the rest of it, I'm not going to chase all these little tendons that are in here out. Those will just add flavor to your roast. This part right here, we'll take it off. And we'll throw that into the burger bowl. You can see there's a hair, a little bit of, I call it silver skin, the skin that's attached to the outside of the body. The longer it comes in contact with air, the tougher it'll get. And since the neck roast will shrink considerably during cooking, I'll just keep that as one whole piece. So now I'll go ahead and wrap this, and then off video we'll go ahead and work up the other side of the back straps and the shoulder, and then we'll come back on video and get one of the hindquarters.